Okay, so we're going to demonstrate the hammer strength circuit. Now this is going to be totally different than the ones you've seen out on the floor, and let me show you why. They're going to have pictures showing you how to start and how to stop and what muscle you're working, but these are free weight driven. It says unilateral leg press, so a lot of these are going to be where you have to balance the movement. Totally different than, again, the machines that are driven by a cam. In other words, you're going to know if you're pushing stronger on one side or the other. It'll show you what side you're dominant on. These were originally designed for athletes because if they were dominant on one side, they could kind of balance that out over a period of time, and then they started using it in rehab. Say if someone had a bad leg or a bad shoulder, they could work one side for more sets or whatever, but I'm going to demonstrate this one. On this one, again, it's free weight loaded. Now I do want to tell you this. Some of these machines in the hammer strength have a tree that are attached to it. Now over here, Daniel's going to show you this tree here. They're going to have these trees out here until you can get the lighter weights like your 25 and 35, 10s, even have some 2.5s over here. So if you want to adjust the weight, not quite go up 45 like they're on here, you can. Not every machine in here has a tree to it, but the ones that are, don't walk up to it and think, hey, it's already loaded, because it's not. It's actually on the tree. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and take it off the tree, and I'm going to put a little weight. Now this has 4 areas that you can load on. So if you want to go real heavy, you can, or if you want to kind of go lighter. Now in my case, I'm going to go ahead and just load it from this side here, and I'll put my weight here. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to adjust this seat. Now these are heavy duty type seats because a lot of times people do go heavy on these, so they're not going to be as easy to adjust like the hydraulic seats out on other circuits. So I'm going to grab here, I'll have a bar here, and I can take that, lock it in where I want it. Now once I get in here, you'll see these are independent movement here, so they can go one at a time. So when I get my feet up here, I grab here, I'll get one leg up here, get the other one up here. I want about 90 degrees here, okay? Now when I'm doing it, I can do one at a time. Like this. I can do 2 at a time. Sometimes you'll see people doing this. Gotta be real careful doing that, you may hurt yourself. So I'm gonna do it with both legs. Now when I do this, I can put my feet angled, or if I can put them straight however I want to. Now when I go here though, I don't wanna lock my knees out just like on any other leg press. I wanna stop right before they lock and come back. Now again, you got to really pay attention here and balance this out. So I'm going to know real quick if I'm strong on the other side, but this will really help you as far as building your strength, a little bit of coordination. And you're going to still adjust the weight the same as you would on a machine as far as get the weight to where if you're doing 10, 12, or 15, you want that last one to be like, oh, I couldn't have got another one. But again, remember, you can do independent, you can do both legs. Either way, give it a shot. If you never thought about doing hammer strength, again, a lot of people look at this circuit and think, it's big and bulky, I don't think I want to touch it, but a lot of times even our senior women get on some of these machines, they think, man, I'm glad I tried it. So again, this is your hammer leg press. Now we're going to demonstrate the hammer V squat. So on here, again, it's going to have a picture. It's going to show you how to start, how to stop, and what muscle you're working. Now again, I'm going to have a tree on this machine, so I'm going to load it from the tree here, and I'm going to put it on this right here. So I'll load it on this side here. And then I'm going to come around this other side, and I'm going to put some weight on this side. Again, remember, you got your lighter weights. These are 45-pound plates all on these trees, but you can go to your lighter weights on the trees here. Now once I get it, I'm just going to stand up here like this. I'm going to get my back against this pad here. I'll put my shoulders here. I'll put my feet here about shoulder width. Now, there's no golden rule. Some people go closer, some people go wider. I like to go about shoulder width. When I get it, I'm going to grab this right here. This is a safety handle, so it's not letting me drop it. When I come up, I'm going to unlock that. Now I have to hold that weight up. So when I come down the first time, it's going to unlock it. I'll come down to 90 degrees, back up. Now again, I'm dropping down to 90, back up. I walk my toes up, or my feet up, so that my knees stay behind my toes. I don't put pressure on my knees. So again, I'm coming down, back up. I'm still going nice slow form. About 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down. When I get to the last one, watch what I do over here. I'm going to get it up to here. Sometimes if I walk my feet up higher, I can't lock it in, so I'm going to walk my feet back so I can stand up straighter. I'll lock it in, make sure it catches, and then you're done. That way you can get out here safely. So again, remember, this is your hammer V squat. So now we're going to demonstrate the hammer isolateral leg extension. Again, you're going to have a picture here showing you how to start it, how to stop it, and what muscles you're working. Now this is a unique machine here because if you've never done it before, a lot of people get on here and they think, God, this is awkward as all get out. And it is, because you're having to balance the movement. Now I'm not going to put 45. This one doesn't have a tree on it, so I'm going to have to come to the tree. I'm going to start off, and I'm going to go fairly light on it. I'm just going to put some 10. Now again, you got these prongs here, here, and here, so if someone wants to go heavy or lighter, they can do it either. I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to put a 5 on each side too. So all together, if you're using a workout card on this one, what you'll do here is you won't put 15 pounds on your card, you'll put 30 because you got 30 pounds total. And so when I get in here, I can get in here like this and I can slide back on my seat. I'm gonna have that little gap here. I can take my foot here behind it and here. If you're shorter and you want to, you can always take a leg in here and slide in that way, just wherever you're comfortable with it. Once I get into it, I'm gonna wrap my leg here and here. I want this one to be just like the leg extension on the circuit. I wanna know that when I sit here, my back is planted and the back of my kneecap is right at the arch of that pad. That way I'm not gonna go out here too far and hurt my knee. So now I'm gonna get in position. Once you get in position, you're gonna have these handles here. Now watch this again. I can go one at a time and do one side at a time if I want to. Especially if I'm doing rehab, if I'm doing some kind of knee injury, I can do an extra set on that side. When you go both sides, this is where it gets kind of difficult. You're having to balance it. Again, you're going to know if you're dominant on one side or the other. But after you do it 3 or 4 times, you'll get down to where you can really control it. And once people start using the hammer strength, like I haven't used this machine in some time, so I can feel that I'm dominant on my right side, which means this. I could actually go a little heavier on my left side to build it up, or I could do an extra set. But anyway, remember, you're going to have to balance this movement. And again, this is your hammer leg extension. So now we're going to do the hammer isolateral leg curl to work the hamstring. So on here, you're going to have a picture down here. Now this picture kind of hides over here. It's down here on the bottom of the machine. So again, it's going to show you how to start, how to stop, and what muscle you're working. Now again, on these, you're going to load it down here on the end. I already loaded this one here. I went ahead and put the same thing I had on the leg extension a while ago. So I loaded it right down here, put my weights. Remember again, if you're using a workout card, you're writing the weight from both sides, which again on this one, I got 30 pounds on it. This one is very complicated to balance, especially if you're dominant on one side when you first start. But again, it's like the other one. You'll start liking it after a while. But when I lay on here, all I'm going to do is have my knee cap right off the edge of that deal. So I'll lay up here. I'll get my kneecap off. I'll grab these handles. And what I'm going to do, again, I can do one leg at a time like this. And I can do my reps like that. And then if I do both sides, I'm just going to try to come up. And again, I can tell again that I'm dominant on my right side, which means I haven't done the hammer strength in some time. It means I may need to start doing these hammers again. But all I'm doing is slow form. And it takes a little while. You can't go real fast on these or you'll lose your balance real fast. So I'm going about 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down, getting that squeeze. And then when you get done, all I'll do is I'll slide out like this, stand up so I don't hurt my back. And again, this is your leg curl and the hammer strength. So now we're going to do a hammer angle calf raise. So again, you'll have your picture here showing you how to start and how to stop. Now on here it's going to say super horizontal calf. Makes it sound really special, doesn't it? So on here though, it's free weight loaded. Now this has a tree on this machine, so I'm going to unload this. I'm going to put it down here so I actually have some weight on the exercises I'm doing. So I'll just put 45 on each side here. Now I can adjust my seat here kind of like the leg press where I can come up or down. In this case, I'm going to go back just a little bit. Well, I think I'm shorter, so I'm going to come forward a little bit. Because what I want to do is when I get in here, I'll just sit back like this, get my position. I can put my feet here if I want to rest between sets, but I'm going to bring my feet here. You see where I'm going? I'm going right below the toe here on that foot. Get in here. Now a lot of people, you'll see them doing like a leg press. Again, you don't want to do that. You want to get your feet straight. When you do, all I'm doing is going up and down where just my calves are working. Just my calves. Nice and slow form. When I get done, I'll take one foot off, one here. I can rest between my sets, or I can just step off and I'm done. Again, that is your angle calf raise on your hammer strength. So we're going to demonstrate the hammer bench press, also known as the horizontal. And if you look at the picture, it's kind of neat because hammer really spices their stuff up. You'll notice how that says iso, lateral, horizontal, bench press. Makes it really sound difficult, but anyway, you got your picture how to start, how to stop, and what muscle you're working. Now this one I like it though because it's kind of like doing a bench press or doing a dumbbell press all at one time, because I can go individual movement on each side, which I'll show you here in a second. Let me load it up here. This one again has a tree on the side. Most of these are going to have a tree on it, but there are a few that don't. So when I get in here, I can sit right here. You know, when you're doing a bench press, a lot of times you're doing a bench press bar, you're going to have the bar where you're unloading it about where it's even with your eye. That way when you come down, you can do your form, be able to load the bar back without hitting the rack. So this is kind of the same way. Even though the bar doesn't go straight across, I'm not going to be lifting off and get it, but I want to get the bar in position level with my chest if I had a bench press bar. Now, here's the thing about this. Sometimes if you're a large person, you may want to put, I'm going to show you that when we're doing the video, you can lay something underneath those pads there and make it up higher. Now, it fits me because I'm not a very large person, but if you had a guy in here 250 pound with a barrel chest, they may want to put a 25 pound plate underneath by lifting this up, putting a plate under there. Totally up to the individual. So if you can't get down in here and can't reach back here very well and do it, then you can do that. Now, once I get it, I'm going to grab it here and watch this. I can do one side and alternate it out like that, or I can do both. Either way, I'm having to control that movement here, so it's a whole different feel. So again, it's like a combination. That's why a lot of people love the hammer strength, because it's like a combination of doing a bench press or a dumbbell press. And so again, this is going to be your horizontal hammer bench press. Now we're going to do a hammer chest press. So again, remember in this circuit, a lot of times in a circuit we'll have just a regular flat press like this. It's actually where you're seated. This one again does have the horizontal. So I usually tell people, if they're doing this full circuit, you don't necessarily have to do both of these because they're going to do the same thing. Some people like to lay down like a bench press, some people like to sit. So on this one here, this is not going to have a picture. It got tore off. So just remember, it's a chest press. When you sit in it, you'll have a tree here so you can get your weights. All I'm going to do is load them right here on this side here. And I'll load them here. Now when I sit in here, this seat will lock into these numbers here. And it's not like the pins that you'd have out on the regular rings. This actually locks in the rubber. So all I do is I raise this up and I can slide it up or down. And when I get it where I want it, I'll just lock it in. Now when I get it the way I'm going to angle this, I'm going to pretend like that bar is straight across here. So when I sit in here, I'm going to want that bar to be about chest level, which is about right for me. Now you can give an inch up or down depending how you like to feel, but this actually feels about right where I like it. I normally will keep my hands about shoulder width, maybe a couple inches outside. If you go too far out, you're going to hurt your shoulder. So I like to go about thumb distance apart. So I'll grab it here, pull my hands in. Now again, this is independent movement. Again, this is why a lot of people like hammer. I can do one side, and then I can do the other side. Again, you don't want to get momentum when you're doing this. You want to control the movement. So if I have I'm rehabbing something, I can do one side or the other. Now in this case, I'm going to do both sides. And again, remember, I'm going to balance it. This makes it a little harder. So it's like I'm doing a barbell and a dumbbell all on one exercise. Again, it makes it really fun. And the neat thing about hammer too, to give you an idea here, since I chose now to do the seated chest press, if I lose control and I drop it, the machine's still going to catch it. I'm not going to get hurt. So a lot of people like to transition from the Selectrized equipment to the hammer strength before they ever get on the freeway. So just remember, this is your seated chest press on the hammer strength. So now we're going to do the hammer incline press. So this one's kind of unique. It's going to have a picture on here, a little different than the other pictures. And so again, it's going to show you basically, instead of how to start and stop, it's going to show you what muscle you're working, what's highlighted here. This is a picture we made because one of our bodybuilders got mad one day and ripped it off there because he didn't get a good enough pump. No, I'm just joking. Again, it shows you what you're working here. Just remember, this is your isolateral incline. So when I'm doing this one, I'm going to work on the top part of my chest here. So I'm going to have the seat the same thing. I can go up or down, lock it where I want, make sure it's locked in. When I sit here, instead of having that straight across the middle of my chest, I want it up on the top of my sternum here. So when I get in here, I want to have it right about there, which is about right for me. I could probably go down just a smidgen. I'll go down just a little bit more. And that's going to be good. Now, in this case, you'll notice I don't have a tree on this machine. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to snatch one off that machine, I'm going to snatch one off this one. Now remember, if I didn't want a 45-pound plate, I could go over this tree right beside it. Everything's really convenient here to grab whatever weight you want. Once I get it, I'm going to sit in here now. Again, you can go close grip if you want to hit the triceps a little bit more. You can go way out here, but you're going to have impingement on your shoulders here. So I like to go again just right outside of my delts. When I get it, I can go again one at a time. You notice how that's pulling me up at an upward angle this time instead of going straight out? Again, I'm focusing on my upper chest on this incline press. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do them at the same time. Remember, I'm having to balance this, okay? So sometimes if you got somebody really been doing this for a while, you'll never know they're balancing at all, just like one steady movement. Again, I like this because it's demonstrating almost if I had a barbell or a dumbbell. About 2 seconds up, 2 seconds back. When I get done, I'll just let it down here. And that again is your hammer incline press. So now we're going to demonstrate the hammer isolateral wide chest. Now if you're doing this in a free weight room, normally you just call this a decline bench press. So in this one here, I'm going to have a tree attached to it, okay? Now on the picture here, it's going to show you that we're actually working the entire chest, but we're also focused on the lower part of the chest. And I'll show that when we do it, but it's going to show you how to start and how to stop, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and unload and put some weight off of this onto my bars here. Now this one, on the flat bench press, remember I want to go straight across. On the incline I came up. This one I'm going to go right on the very lower part of my pec. So let's sit and see if this seat fits me. So what I'm looking for, that bar to come straight across. That actually fits me pretty good when I grab this. So when I'm doing this, again, it's independent movement. It's starting me at a wide position, but it's going to bring me in closer, and you'll see what I mean by that. So when I do it, I can do one at a time, like this. Or I can come both at the same time. Now typically what I'll do is I'll go again some distance, get about here, and when I come up, I'm squeezing that lower pec when I get to the top, back down. Again, remember you're having to balance that movement here, and if you're not careful you can lose control, so you want to be able to go and control the movement all the way through, nice and slow. 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down. And again, you'll feel that working on the lower part of your pecs here. So again, nice and slow. When you get the last one, you'll take it down here. Again, this is your isolateral wide chest, which is also called, basically in the free weight room, it'd be your decline press. Now we're going to demonstrate your hammer. This is seated or standing shrug, so you can do it either way. I'll demonstrate both ways. It's going to have a picture down here showing you again the name of the machine and how you're doing it. Now it's only going to demonstrate one way, and that's seated, but I'm going to demonstrate it also standing. Now this doesn't have a tree on it, so I'm just going to attach some weights from this here. I'm going to grab one here, and I'm going to take one from this side here where it's easy for me to put it back. You notice how I said put it back, because the requirements at Legends is you're supposed to put your weights up once you're done with it and not leave it on here for the staff to put up, okay? Just thought I'd plug that in. Now when I'm doing it, I can sit in here. I've got that handle and this handle. Typically we're not going to use this handle except for standing. I'm going to use it for seated. What I want is I want to have my seat that I can grab here. I can come up here, squeeze my traps, and come all the way down and fully extend it. Back up, back down. Now don't get all this momentum going. You'll see people cheat all the time. Literally whatever your trap can do, think about this pulling the arm up, not the arm pushing that up. So this is dragging the arm up. So here it is. I got it here. My trap pulls my arm up and back down slowly. Again, not the opposite. You see people cheat all the time, go way too heavy. So it's nice and slow. My trap is pulling my arm up. Nice, slow movement. Now, when I get that done, if I want to do standing, I can stand here like this and do this movement here. Or I can turn around this way. If I want to grab the lower, I can, but preferably I want to grab the upper. It's too far to bend down, and you're probably not going to get full range without hitting a wall or whatever. So I want to grab the upper here, standing here. Again, the trap is pulling the arm up. It's not the arm pushing the trap up. When you do it that way, you won't be able to use near as much weight, but you'll develop those traps a whole lot more. You also want to get up to the top, squeeze it, and come down slowly. Not this stuff. Okay, so it's here, squeeze, back, squeeze, back. When I'm done, I'm just letting it down. So again, I can do this seated or standing. It's an awesome machine to do traps because most circuits don't have a trap machine. So remember, this is your hammer shrug machine. So now we're going to do a hammer pull down machine. Now this one's kind of unique because most of the machines you're facing in, this one you're facing away from. So when I get in here, I'm not going to have a picture on this machine, so kind of watch me closely how I'm doing this, okay? I can adjust this by bringing this up, so when I sit in the seat, I'm going to get the seat down here to when I sit in it, I'm sitting about with my legs about 9 degrees. And I usually put my heels here and I'll lock this here. Once I get that to where I want it, when I stand up, that's going to drop. So what you want to do every time you do your set, bring it out of your way here. You'll step up here. Now you got a couple of different grips you can do on here. You can do this wide grip here where I'm coming here, or I can do a close grip here. And so I'm going to demonstrate both. But one thing we want to do on here is we do have a tree on this machine. It kind of gets confusing because you can see the tree's right below the rod. But if it's on the lower, there's no weight on the machine. So I'm going to bring it up here and put it on the rod so I'll have some weight on this exercise. So once I get it, I know that I had to bump that with my knee. So what I'm going to do, I got the seat where I want it now. I'm going to grab here. I'm going to do the wide grip first. I'm going to grab it here. I'm going to pull down with it. I'm going to get down here. I'm going to bump that with my knee. Now it's got me secure, okay? Now what I'm going to do, I like this because not only is it like a pull down, it's almost like a combination of a pull down roll, because when I get to here, I'm pulling in and squeezing. So I'm coming slow. Remember, it's independent movement, how I'm having to balance that movement. So I could go one at a time like that if I wanted to, but in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do two. I'm going to balance the movement. I'm going to come down. Like every pull down, you always want to initiate the back and follow through the arms. If not, you can do a lot of arm workout and get your arms wore out. So again, I'm initiating and following through every time I come up. So if I'm doing multiple sets, I'll rotate out. Again, I'm going 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down. When I get to the last one, I'm going to stand up here, get my legs out. I'm going to get this back here, raise it up for my next set. This set, I'm going to come in here close grip and reverse it. So you could come like this if you want to, but it's so whole lot easier if you just reverse your grip and do a close grip this way. Again, I'm going to bump that with my knee, and now I'm going to do a reverse. And again, you're getting a combination, literally like you're doing a pull down and a roll all in one exercise. Remember, I could do one at a time, or I can do them both at a time. Either way, when I get done, I'm going to slide my leg out again, stand up and put it in place. And again, that's going to be my hammer pull down machine. So now we're going to do the hammer roll machine. Now there's a couple of these. I'm going to demonstrate both, but we'll demonstrate the regular roll machine first. You're going to have a picture. Now it's going to say iso lateral roll. It's going to show you how to start, how to stop, and what muscle you're working. Now you'll look here, and there's all these different levers that you can grab onto, adjustments. But I'm going to first of all show you I have a seat over here. I again can raise it up or down by doing this, bring it back to where I want it. When I sit here, typically I want to sit here where my chest's about middle. I can put my feet here or down here, wherever I'm comfortable with. Me, I'm shorter, so I'm going to go here. Now when I grab this, it's set, so I had to really stretch. So a lot of times what people will do, especially if you have shorter arms like me, I'll reach in here and grab it like this, pull it up to me, and I'll reach and grab this side, and then I'll get it. So once I get it, I'm going to go with this lever first, okay? I'm going to come up, squeeze, and back. Now a lot of times I'll switch into the next set instead of letting go. I'll just come up here and adjust my hands this way. So I can do a close grip roll here. Or I can go wide. Now again, I'm not going to switch out and grab these wide handles without stopping. But again, it just gives you all the different adjustments. You feel where you're comfortable. I like this grip a whole lot when I'm doing this machine here, when I do it, but I also like to rotate here too. So again, you just go to where you like to. If you're doing multiple sets, you may change the hand adjustment all the way through. Remember, I'm having to balance this, guys. So when you're doing this, nice and slow, squeeze, back, squeeze, back. Now also, I'm going to show you real quick with the top handle here, or wide handle. I can go here. Now what I do a lot of time when I do this, it's hard to get that wide handle when you're short like me without cheating. So I'll get one side like this, grab it, then I'll come to my other side. Now I'm doing a wide grip roll. So again, all I'm doing is changing my angles to what I feel comfortable with. When I get done, I'll let one hand down, and the other hand down. You don't want to just drop that thing. So just take one hand down, the other hand down, and that's your regular hammer row. So now we're going to do the hammer low row, a little bit different than the one we just did here. So this one here is going to show you again how to start. The plate weights are kind of hiding, and then what muscle you're working on. This one here has a tree attached to it, so I'm just going to take it off this tree, put it up here on this bar here. I'll go over here on this one, load this side up. Now, no magic area where you have to have the seat, but this is a low row. So again, I still can adjust this seat how I want it. But typically when I'm in here, I want my chest to be about the middle. Now I can grab it here or here. In this case, I'm gonna grab the lower one. So I'm gonna grab it here. Now this right here is set because if I wanna do one arm at a time, remember it's independent movement, I can go one side and really concentrate and keep my chest against this pad. And then I can rotate the side and do the same thing. Remember, I'm initiating the pull with my back and following through with my arm. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do both sides. So in this case, I'll grab one side, I'll get it in position, grab the other side, and now I'm ready. Now this is coming up in an upper position, so I'm coming up, working my back in a whole different way on this low row than I did that regular row. So sometimes I'll tell people they're doing the circuit, they can alternate, do one or the other, but sometimes because it hits a different part of your back, you can go ahead and incorporate both of these. Again, remember, I'm going to initiate, squeeze, and back. When I get done, I'll let one side down, other side down, and that's your hammer low row. So this is your hammer shoulder press. Now this is going to be a machine, there's not a picture on it, okay? It's also going to look a lot like the incline press that we did earlier, but you'll notice the location. It's actually where you can see the fitness center in the background where the other one was against the wall. So remember, this is your not your incline press, it's your shoulder press, and it's going to be angled up a little higher than the incline. The incline is about 55 to 60 degrees. This is actually at 85 degrees, so it's a higher angle, but it's not going to put you so far up you're going to have impingement on your shoulder. So again, if you're the type of person who wants to do a straight press, go back to the free weight because this is going to take you back a little further than you may like. But when you're in here, you're going to have your seat where you can adjust it up or down. When I sit in here, it's got a lot of freedom in that bar right there because of the size of the person. So when I sit in it, I want to find what fits me. Like if I were grabbing a regular barbell, my range of motion's here. I don't want to drop it fast, it's going to hurt my shoulder. So what I want to do is be able to reach in here and grab it here. See, I'm having to reach too far. So I'm going to grab this seat. I'm going to take it down a little bit. Now that's like a barbell on me. That's hitting me perfect. So I'm putting my thumbs here. I'm grabbing out here thumb distance. Now again, this is independent movement. So I'm going like this. Now you'll notice there's also not a tree on this machine. So a lot of times I'll snatch it from this rack right here and I'll go something what I want. On this case, I'm going to go some 25s. This is going to be a lot harder than your regular chest press and stuff, so I'm going to go 25 on each side. Again, remember, you can go lighter like a 10 or a 5 or a 2.5. Now, I'm going to get it to about where I think I need to be at. I'll get my position back. I'll get some part. Now, if I want to go ahead and do one side, maybe I have a bad shoulder I'm rehabbing, I can. Just like this. Again, people who love hammer love hammer. A lot of people join this gym because they just want to do hammer strength. But in this case, I'm going to do both. So I'm actually getting the comfort of a machine, the comfort if I had a barbell, and the comfort if I had a dumbbell, having to balance it. So again, I'm getting a whole lot in one machine. Remember, ultimately, if I drop this, the machine's going to catch it. Now, don't drop it. But if you did, if you got stuck, you could drop it, bail out, and not get hurt. So again, it's 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down. When you get done, just slowly let it down, and that's going to be, again, your hammer shoulder press. Now we're going to do the hammer lateral raise. Now it's going to have a picture on this one here showing you again basically how you're going to start, the position you're going to be, and what muscle you're working. This is a machine that some people love, some people hate. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like this machine. That's why I'm glad I'm at Legends, because I got 4 to 5 more. If I only had this one, if you liked it, you'd love the club. If you didn't, you'd leave. So it's nice to know that we have so much different things, but if you're a lover of this, you're going to like to get in here and do it one of 2 ways. The way it shows to do it, which is sitting in here like this and going this. Now this is basically like nothing if there's no weight on it. And so you want to put your weight. Now 45 on this is tough. So I'm going to go ahead and just start off with like 10 on each side. So I'll take them off this tree. I'll load it back here. Now I'm level on both sides. I'll get in here. What I'm looking for when I sit here, I want to push with my forearms here. So I want to be able to sit in here, pull my forearms, and they should fit right in the middle of that pad. In my case, the seat was perfect. If it wasn't, I'll just adjust it up or down. Now what I'm doing, I'm coming up like this. It's almost like I've had a dumbbell. I'm coming up at an angle to where I'm just breaking the plane of my shoulder. I don't want to stop here, and I don't want to come way up here to where I'm resting. I want to just break that plane. So I'm here, break the plane back down. Now again, I can do one side at a time if I want to. Just like that. But usually most people are going to do it the same time. Now I'm going to show you a way here in just a second. It's not on the picture, but a lot of people do it because they can isolate their shoulder a little bit better. So when I'm going to do it, I'm going to grab out of here. I'm going to turn this position. I'm going to get in here like this. Now I'm not going to lean all the way up on this pad. I'm going to still sit up straight here, but I'm going to control the movement by coming up in the lateral raise. Some people like it because the pad just feels good where they're pushing from their elbow. Again, if you do that, just be careful not to lean way here. You're going to hurt your lower back. Just sit up straight like this. If you haven't done this, I'm not recommending you do it this way, but you will see some people, and it's not the fact that they're doing it wrong. It's just the fact they've learned how to isolate the muscle a little bit better by using the machine and how they like it. So either way, if you face out, face in, 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down, control the movement, make sure it doesn't control you. And again, this is your hammer lateral raise. So now we're going to do the hammer seated dip machine. So there's a couple of different handles you grab here and adjustments here, but you're going to look on your picture here and show you how to start, how to stop, and what muscle you're working here. Now you'll hit some chest when you're doing it, a little bit of delt, but basically you're going to be hitting your triceps the most. Now when you're doing it, you're going to load it down here. Now I don't have a tree on this machine, so I'm going to steal from here. Now in this case, I'm going to go a little bit, well, I'll just do 35s on both sides. So I'll take 2 of these. I'll come down here, I'm going to load it over here. Now this machine's not independent movement. You're going to be doing both sides at the same time. So when you're in here, what you're basically doing when you're adjusting this handle, remember this will go up or down by just letting the rubber lock in. This is going to be bouncing off your leg like the pull down did. So I'm going to pull it up out of my way here. I'm going to get down to here to where my legs are about 90. Now in this case, I'm going to come down a little bit lower. You can put your feet flat on the floor. Most people put their heels here. And then once I do it, I'll get this where I want it. And then I can grab it here. I can grab it way back here. I can grab it here. Way back here is like an impingement on my delt. You'll see a lot of people doing that, but it's like me walking up to you, grabbing you, pulling you back. It's too much straining your delt. So it's better to grab it here and here. You can lean up on this pad. Now, if I flare way out like this, I'm hitting a lot of my delt and I'm going to hurt myself. I want to keep my elbows tucked in like this, close to my side as I can. I'll come down and back up to about 90. When I come down, I'm flexing that muscle. Back up slow. Now, you'll see some people do one side or the other on this, and that's fine, but this machine is not necessarily designed for that. But again, I'm going down slow, flexing that muscle, coming back slow. When I get to the last one, I'll just come up slowly, put it in place, step out from that right there, let it go down where it's going to go. Sometimes it'll drop all the way down, don't worry about it. But anyway, that's going to be your hammer dip machine. So now we're going to demonstrate the hammer strength bicep curl. Now a lot of times people will call this a preacher curl because you'll have these preacher curls like in the free weight room. They're angled the same way that you use barbells with. In this case, we're going to have a picture showing you how to start, how to stop, and what muscle you're working. Now on this one here, you'll notice that pad's angled down almost at 50-degree angle down here. So we're not going to sit in here where my arms are straight across there. I want to sit in here like this. So when I adjust the seat, I'm going to adjust it where my arms fit here. Before I do that though, this machine doesn't have a tree on it. So I'm going to take some weights. Now if I were using a 45, I'd just simply snatch it off here. In this case, I'm going to go a little lighter because I'm a lightweight. I'm going to put it over here. I'm just going to load it right there. Now when I get over here, I'm going to be able to adjust my seat. Remember again, these seats have numbers just like the other circuits do. That way if someone's using a circuit card and want to keep up with what weight adjustment, they would know right what to go to. In this case, I can go up or down. Now I'm going to go right to number 2 because that's going to probably fit me perfectly. When I'm in here, again, I know I'm not way up here. I'm able to come right into this and angle my arm just where I want it. Now I'm not able to reach that without hyperextending my elbow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up. I'm going to grab this. Now again, you've got all this width. I can go wider or narrower. I normally will go about shoulder width. When I get it, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to curl it up to me, and then I'll sit down. I'll get my feet down here on this bar here. I'm going to go all the way down, but I'm not going to hyperextend my elbows here, okay? I'm going to stop right before I fully lock. Now, if you want to go all the way down, it's totally up to you, but you can risk hurting your elbow. So I'm going to come all the way up, squeeze my biceps at the top, back down slow, back up. Again, remember, I'm controlling the movement. It's not controlling me. I'm not getting momentum. You'll see a lot of these guys swinging and stuff like that. You want to be able to control the weight, not worry about how you're lifting or how much you're lifting, but make sure you're controlling it. So again, 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down. When I get to the last one, I'm going to stand up, take it down, and let it down. That way I'll avoid injury on my elbows. And again, that's going to be your hammer strength bicep curl. Every circuit we have in here is an ab machine. Typically, it's a brand that we go with. Like if it's Magnum, we have a Magnum ab machine, Cybex, and so forth. And the hammer, we didn't get the hammer ab machine. I just didn't like it a lot. So we added this one into the hammer circuit, which is the ab coaster. You've probably seen this in different gyms before. A lot of people love it. I like to show it in here because a lot of women who don't want to do hammer strength still like to do this ab coaster. So all you're doing on here is you're going to have an area here where you can put your weights down here. Some people don't even use any weights, but if I want to put weights, I can add weights here, or I can put on both sides. In this case, I'm just going to put a 10-pound on one side. Now I'm going to get in here like this. Now I want you to think about this. You can do obliques by turning this like this, or you can go straight, but don't think of it like this. This looks like a roller coaster, doesn't it? You're not at Six Flags though. You're not trying to do momentum where you're just hauling butt. I see some people go so fast, sometimes they knock the back side of this thing off. You want to control the movement. So even though you're on a roller, when you come up, you're coming up squeezing the abs, back down. You're controlling that movement. If you're doing all this, you could do it all day long with all the weight you want to. But sometimes just a 10-pound plate, when you're coming up here, squeezing and back down, you can really feel those abs engage. If I want to do obliques, I'll just turn here, do the same thing. And I'm telling you, if you're doing a form right, you're not going to be able to use a lot of weight. If you're using 25, 30 pounds on each side, you're probably at Six Flags on the roller coaster. Remember, you're at Legends Gym on the ab coaster, and you're going nice, slow movement. And again, that's your ab coaster. It's not on the circuit card for this here. It's just added later on. So if you like to do this one, you can do it, or you can choose anyone in the club. So again, this is just your ab coaster. It's located in the hammer strength room.